dear, 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 dear. I'm sorry about that, guys. When I was setting everything up, there was one setting that I hadn't done. So let's get stuck into it. I'm going to hit the, let me know if it's streaming. If someone can say yes, that'd be great. I'm very keen to see if it's correct. Goodness gracious. Good, Brian. Oh, yeah. Yes. Sound and vision. Now good. Okay. Here comes the intro. My goodness, what a debacle. I'll tell you what it is. It's this new studio thing that they've created. So it stops me running. Here, I'm adjusting glasses again. It stops me running it how I used to do it. And I'm still stumbling along with the new situation. There's one little tab in there. It says start stream automatically, stop stream automatically when I hit the go button. I forgot to push that this morning. Anyway, a bit of a panic, but we're all good now. Today on the show. Today is the 11th of October 2020. I hope you've had a good week. Mine's been a great week. It's been very, very busy catching up on odd jobs that need to be done. You've heard of spring cleaning. Well, in the Southern Hemisphere, it is spring, and a heap of work is having to be done. So this week on the show, Paul Angus has a project that he's going to share with us. It'd be great to see that. Derek Lark's new workbench that he's sorted out. I'm going to trim an old box for Vicky's upholstered seat, and that's where I've got the festool HKC sitting on the promo. Hinges on a steel gate. Now there's a thing that with gates they tend to sag. Now this particular gate, and I've got it sitting on the bench behind me here. This is a big steel gate, and it's not going to sag itself because the gate's going to be super strong, but the mount that it's going onto is welded onto a steel beam, and just the weight of the gate might start to pull that mount over a little bit. So it's one of those things that I'm doing, and I thought you guys might be interested to see how I'm going to sort it out. Did you need to do Instagram? Thank you very much for that. Let's see if I can do it. Look down on here, and come on, start. And share. There we go. Now that will also share on Facebook a little bit as well. I'm going to do a quick read down the side here. Dave, hello from Canada. Online, all good. When we got to go? I don't know what that's about, Peter. Everyone's jumping up and saying, yes, it's fantastic. I saw David Rowland's comment. My grandfather clock says it's 11. I'm thinking, I know. I'm trying to go live. I'm trying to get there. Morning Dave, morning all from Brian Lukens, Michael Murray. Dave, I really love Zoe's sign behind you. It's a cracker, isn't it? I love it. And I did the guns. Now, that photo that I put on Facebook, you may or may not have seen it. I was just pointing up at it, and I had the camera, my phone, mounted down here on the bench. It's got a little lever that you can pull out on the back. I'll show you, like that. Can you see it? Anyway, it lets me put the phone down here so I can watch what's happening. So I thought I'll take a photo from there to take a photo of the sign. I was just pointing up at the sign, and I realized that the angle that I was pointing it at made my biceps look a little bit bigger than they really are. So I thought I'll jump on board with that. I'll take it when I can. Why should all the young guys have all the fun? Us old guys can have some fun as well. Anyway, let me see. Giles, hello everyone from Shannon, Quebec in Canada. So that's what we're going to do. So the first thing, and we're going to have a little play with the tongue drum as well, I think. First thing to do, how about we do a viewer's project? We'll jump in with Derek's bench, and I'll show you that. What he's done is he says, hi Dave, here is the new bench with the Stanton bench built in. So this bench here, he's got one from me and he's built it into another one. It can be easily removed if I need to take it on site. So let's have a look at the picture. And there it is. So what he's done, the outer pieces are laminated Merbo, which gives me about 1.5 meters by 0.9 of a meter. So it's 1500 by 9, which is basically 5 feet by 3 feet. Plenty of space to cover in tools, leaving the MFT for assembly and construction. I still have to add the bottom shelf and maybe a second vise to the right-hand side to give a tail style arrangement. Thanks for the help. Regards, Derek. I reckon that's fantastic. Good on you, Derek. I don't know what the base is that he's made for it. Maybe he's made up that base or it's from another situation. I was having a chat with Derek about it and suggested possibly that on the left-hand side where that vise is, that he just pulls it back a little bit so that the front jaw of the vise, not the movable jaw, but the stationary jaw on the vise is in line with the front of the apron on the Stanton bench, because then he could use that in conjunction with clamping on the face of that apron as well. He did make a comment that possibly it might foul things sometimes though, so that's why he's left it proud. 6 of one, half a dozen of the other. Back over here. Now let me know if you enjoy the darker screen on the right hand side. If yes, whoop, no, I'm going to go back out of there. Oh, goodness gracious. I'm just going to close that one because it didn't work. There we go. We're going to have the white one. I'm having a shocker. All right. Captain Ken, yeah, he made it for the beginning of the show. Yeah, you're one of the lucky ones that didn't see the beginning, which was a debacle. It does look good, doesn't it? It just shows that this can be modular. One of the other thing, I had to adjust one of the cameras here this morning, so I jumped up on top of this and took the weight easy. It wasn't a problem. Okay, looks great. Derek, very functional from Paul. Nice. Derek, thanks, John. We'll do a video when my back recovers. Hey, Andres Hilmerson. Okay, Derek, can you just keep an eye on that, please? And Carl, I tend to have a little bit of a suspicious thing about someone jumps in like something like that. You may be a farmer, and that's great, but keep our eye. Okay, so we're going to switch over to the other camera here, and I'm going to show you a couple of things as well on the other one and transition. Thanks, Derek. All right, now this is the gate, and I don't know if I can go back a little bit further and raise it up so you can see me at the same time. I'll duck down a little bit. So what we've got here is a gate that what I did was I made a template for it, because you might see on the end here, this part here is not in line with the upright. So that the gate itself is a rectangle, but the ends are coming off an angle because the area this is going into is, it's angles coming on both sides, and the railings and everything are made out of this stuff as well. So I wanted to make it so that when it was closed, when you're looking from the top onto the gate, you'd see a continuation. You'd see, rather than a big gap of open area between the top rail of the railing and the top rail of the gate. It was a kind of a neat situation. The hinges I'm using are cheap nylon hinges. Now, ordinarily, they wouldn't hold the weight of this gate. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to mount a jockey wheel, like this guy, down the other end, underneath the gate. So when I had a friend of mine make this gate up for me last week, look, I could do it, but you know, he's so much better at welding and steel work than I am. I thought I'll just ask him to do it. So he did a fantastic job for me. I allowed the thickness that wheel would cover in the total height. So this is the top of the gate. It's going to be perfectly in line with the top of the handrail as well. So I thought that might be nice. So it's going to take all the load down there. So the hinges on this side aren't going to do anywhere near the work they would normally have done. The floor that this gate is above, it's a timber deck, and it's dead flat, so it's not going to worry it. Now, the other thing is this gate is not going to sag on its own. If I put really heavy hinges on here, one of the things to consider is the support, which is a 4" by 4" or 100 by 100 RHS section of steel welded to a C-channel girder below it. Now, it isn't very heavy duty because it was only handrail. It was never designed to take a gate. It would end up leaning over a little bit, and then the gate would be sagging and dropping on the ground, and that's annoying. So this is doing two things. It's helping out on the steel pole that's supporting the gate, and it's also allowing me to use very lightweight hinges. And these things don't need lubricating or anything like that. Stainless steel pin in it, and I'm mounting them with these screws here. So these are a self-tapper, but I'm not just going to use a self-tapper. I'm going to drill them out. I'm going to use a Vicks bit. Now, during the week, I'll come back over to the other camera here for a second. Where are we? Right. So during the week, I put a post on Patreon about how to fix these Vicks impersonator bits. Now, these things are cheap, hence I got a full set, and I love the set, but around the top, they, it was really flat. You notice on the Vicks bit, it's got a really nice chamfer, which allows it to drop into a hole. These are for people that don't know. Vicks bit, or this Vicks bit style, is a self-centering drill. So you pull, it goes down into the hole that you're wanting to marry up with, like in a hinge. You put it down into the hinge hole. It centers the drill bit in the hole, so when you put the screw in, it holds it perfectly, because there's nothing worse than if you drill a hole off center in a hinge, the hinge will move when you put the screw in, the countersink will pull it out of alignment. You may have to put a strainer wire on. I think we'll be fine. Let me read down through the top here. Morning, do you still use and recommend miter set? We'll use your link. Oh yeah. So I use, look, there's a lot of things that I continually use, but once I've done a video on them, you probably won't see me doing anything about it, because the stuff you see me do is about a specific subject. So I use miter set a heap. The reason being, as I say in the video, I have a sacrificial fence in front of my miter gauge. And so that fence might be tapering out a little bit. So if I'm wanting to do something that's got 19 sides, facets in a round circle, well then the miter set is fantastic. It just sets it for me straight away. I love the miter set angles. I don't use the other one so much, but the one that sets up the angles, the set angles, as in 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, all the way through to 19, to make a 360-degree rotation. It's magic. You won't beat it. Do you think it's strong enough? Hold on a second. There was another comment back up here, if I can get back to it. Nope. No, I'm not going to be able to get back to it. Forget it. I'll read it later on tonight. Hey, Carl, do you know why I'm blocked from commenting? Russ, I've got no idea. You're commenting now, Russ. Tippo, Fort Knox and Pine Gap wouldn't have gates that heavy, Judy. All right. Why have I got them that size? The walkway on this deck is above concrete, and it's 3 meters above a concrete path. I wouldn't want anyone to tumble, down through it. The dogs, when we had all of the dogs, Barry fell off that once, and it was a scare. Do it once, do it right. These handrails and the gate and everything will outlast me. Not sure why it wasn't shown before. There you go. All right, so that's the story about a Vicks bit and this imposter. As I said, I did a post on Patreon. I might share it out next week sometime if you want to watch. Do I have elephants? No, I do not, Andrew. Let me see if I've got a picture of it down here. Whoop, no, that one's no good. And I bet you this one's, there it is, that one's better. That's the Vicks bit, or the impersonator, and I've opened it up. So if you have a situation where they clog up with sawdust, you just undo the casing. There's a spring inside there, so be careful. And push it back in, and you can see the little chamfer I put on the end as well. Come back up to here. I'm going to drill these out. Still, so Nessie can't chew. Exactly right, Wade. Dead right. Now, the other thing is I've moved cameras around a little bit today. So I've got that camera moved along, and I'm right in front of the middle of it. So the image should be pretty sharp. Over on this side, it's going to be soft. Remember, I explained why we're having that chat showing down here, which is offsetting the image that the camera is showing. So whilst I'm looking off to this side a little bit, I'm actually dead center of the camera. There you go. All right, let's go back to camera 3 and we'll drill these in. G'day, John. I saw your post there, John Lafferty. How are you? And I'm going to pop this in. The other thing to tell, I may as well show you, the imposters have a slightly longer section here than the Vicks bit. A couple of little different features. All right. Now we've got the hinge, and I've drilled a pilot hole already with the Vicks bit. Now I always like to put another hole down that's going to be a clearance hole for this. This is a 3mm drill. So I'm just going to go down, well, it might even be a 3.5. I'm going to go down inside that one. Gotcha. These guys here do drill themselves. Let me see if I can tip this up ever so slightly. I don't want to lose the main thing out of the job. But if you create a bit of a pilot hole for it, it makes it a whole lot easier. Let me see if I've got another drill with a screwdriver on it. Yes, I do. All right. Now the other thing is the holes on these hinges are offset. So one will be lower than the other. They're designed to go in and kind of stitch the joint in, so pull it nice and tight. So be aware when you're doing that you've got the right way round. There's no upside down with this, but that's how it was. They were slightly off center to each other. So I'm going to put that screw in there. Yep. How about I try doing it without the hinge there to start? Good. How's everyone's week been? Gotcha. So that's nice there. I'm going to use the Vicks bit again, which will self-center. I don't know if you can see it there. I might turn this around a little bit this way. It's going to be hard for you to see that, but unlucky. Unlucky. It's centered itself perfectly there. And you know what? It has. Dear, wouldn't you know it? You know what's happened, don't you? The Vicks bit has snapped off in the hole. All right, I'm going to come back over here. Why not? Why not? Why not? Okay, so let's go back to here. Of course, it was going to happen today, wasn't it? paying attention to it while also reinstalling IS data. What have we got down here? So how do you spell those self-centering bits? VIX, correct, that's as Carl said. All right, so I just snapped that, so I'm gonna have to undo that, take that off, get some pliers, isn't it fun? And try and get that out. Gotcha. Beautiful. Well, at least I'll be able to drill this. Gotcha. And get another screw started. Switch the cameras back again. I'm feeling confident. Yeah, thanks, Ben. Thanks, buddy. Maybe try the copy. Yeah, that'd be right. All right, I'm going to put this back in and making sure I've got the right one in the right position. I do. Gotcha. Anyway, I'm not going to do the rest of it. That's enough of the demonstration because I want to move on to something else as well. But there you go. You get the idea. I'll put a couple of screws in down here as well. And then that is going to be plenty to support that gate. One of the other things you might be interested in, I'll just move this gate off here, is bring her along to there. The end, I'm going to tip that down there like that. You can see the end isn't square. See, the square would be across here. How I set this up was I got a piece of plywood, the same width. I cut a piece of plywood exactly the same width as this top section, and I rested it over the top of what was there. Let me have a look. I'll come back to this. So I got the piece of plywood and I rested it across exactly where the gate was going to go. So it was sitting on the railing going this way and sitting on the railing going this way, sitting on top. Pencil underneath, scribe it, allow possibly 10 mils either side, 10 millimeters, about 3/8 of an inch. And then wrote on it the spacings for all of these little rails here, handed it to the engineer, done, perfect fit. All right, Dave can edit all that out later. I'm not going to. This show is live, what's and all. This is just how it is. Let me have a look at. Do you think you need a few more hinges? No, they'll be fine. That'll be fine. All right, so that's that part. Now, next thing we're going to do is we'll have a quick drink. Coming up to past. Paul Angus. Let me have a look down here. And we'll start chatting about Paul's. Yeah, I had the drill set to a slower speed and I didn't even give it all the power that I could have. So I'm well aware of that, and I could have used a bit of kerosene or a bit of light oil to assist, to keep the drill bit cool. But, I've had that drill for a long time, and drill bits do break. That's all there is to it. Good bits, bad bits, they all break. Right, okay. Carl, you're... use the hammer. Smash it. All right. Paul Angus. Hello, Dave. Please find attached 8 photos of my project. Feel free to adjust what you want to share to your preferences. Below is a rough timeline of my bookcase entertainment cabinet. So we're going to go to part A, and Paul has done this timeline as well. So he started off on the 26th of April 2020 and installed a cable clear to hide the cables. So we'll start off with the first picture, and I've put all these in series, so hopefully we're going to be good. First off, he started with pick one is the design and concept, and then pick two is the CAD image of the layout of everything there. And then we go to pick three. This is installing the cable clear. So that pipe just below the mount for the television goes down past noggins or whatever you might have in the wall and comes out at the bottom, so you don't have cables hanging all over the place looking untidy. And they're large enough for you to be able to slide a cable with a plug on the end of it. So this is for pushing into a 10 amp outlet, I'm guessing. These are really, really clever. My son-in-law put one in a house that he renovated. I was very impressed when I saw those. The next thing is install the TV bracket. Oh, sorry, the date's 26th of April, he installed the cable clear. 2nd of May, installed the TV wall bracket and patched the wall. And then, what have we got? The 12th of May, completed the wall painting. I'm hoping I've got that there. It should be in there. It should be in there. And took delivery of the pre-cut boards, hung the TV and speaker on the wall. I'm waiting for, commenced the bookcase cabinet assembly. This is down to the 31st of May, assembled the drawers and made a mounting jig for the drawer slides. There we go. I think I've caught up. Then on the 28th of June, mounted the bookcase on the wall. Yeah, I'm caught up really good. And then on the 5th of July, he's mounted the drawer cabinet on the wall. Let me have a look, see if this is the next one. Yes. Small pause to move to another project that's going to be coming soon. And then on the 2nd of August, he scribed an MDF face to match the wall shape. So I'm guessing that's what also this picture is. The 8th to the 30th of August, 2 coats of undercoat and 2 coats of top coat. Foam roller was used on the MDF. And the 5th of September, installed the 3 drawer fronts and mounted 2 face covers. 13th of September 2020, made and drilling hinge guide. 20th September, installed the 2 doors. And this is it. How nice does that look? I'm waiting for the painting. This just goes to show, I reckon that looks brilliant. See, you don't see any of the cables. It's extremely neat. I love it. And further down the track, if he wants to change TVs, he can do it easily. He can put a larger telly there if he wants, and no one's going to see it. No one's going to see the change. Very well done. Okay, I'd like to say thanks again for the knowledge you've shared. It has helped me deliver this project. Next step, a Craig K5 jig for my further melamine adventures. Regards, Paul. Thank you so much for sending that in, Paul. Now, other people out there, if you want to be like Derek and Paul, send some stuff in to me, and I'll do some nice entertainment in the background as well and make out. I'll break things, and this makes your work look even better than it is. Not that it needs it, but I can help. Place wood on the top to break up the colour. That's a good idea, Paul. Let me have a look down. John Parra, that looks great. Paul, thank you. Not a problem at all. I reckon it looks brilliant. Thank you so much for sending that in. Now, I'm going to move this elephant gate out of the way. This will be brilliant. I love it. And that's no real lightweight. That's a heavy gate. And I'm going to drop the camera down a little bit lower so you can see what I'm going to be doing down here. Just the excitement of the live show. Well done. No extra cost for that. I'm lowering this down because what I'm going to do now is I'm going to show you a project that Vicky's been working on, Vicky being my wife. Now she has got a blanket box. I'm going to move this into the spotlight a little bit and see if I can get it happening here. I'm going to have a look at the other camera. That's not looking too bad. There you go. This is a box that my great-grandfather made, and Vicky has stripped it back and painted it for one of my daughters and upholstered the top. I'm going to come down here so you can see what's going on. So it has hinges here. There's a seat that was on here. Now the problem with the seat is it had wadding from the day. So this is back in the 1900s, early 1900s. This was made for either my grandmother or my great aunt. I'm not sure. And it's a lovely construction. It's, you know, all panels with infill panels inside. All of the round the inside, he's made it really strong using glue blocks. So down here, this area here, I don't know if you can see that. That's a glue block. It's basically a piece of timber that's been ripped at 45 degrees down the center and halved, and then you cut that up, put glue on the back, slide it up and down, and that stiffens a joint big time. Okay. I guess he's bought these knobs, which were features you could buy those days. And the seat had, as I said, had this wadding in it, and it had all collapsed. It's basically like coconut husk. It's the stuff that they used to use for old mattresses. Anyway, Vicky tried to use it, and then she decided probably not a good idea. So she got some foam and she rebuilt the seat. I'll show you. She's done a great job. So this is the new top that she's made for it. So she upholstered it and did all the velvet, all that kind of stuff, and it's going to suit the room that it's going into brilliantly. But because of the thickness of the material on the side, it's not allowing to drop down into these rebated areas or rabbit areas, whatever you want to call it. So I had three options. Option one was to undo the upholstery on that, sneak it in a little bit, and then reupholster it. Option two was to put a piece of timber right the way around, raise the whole bed area up, and put the hinges back but up above, and then it would be sitting on top of all of this when you open it. But I didn't like that idea, and I had to think about it, and then overnight I thought, how about I trim these guys back? Now it's going to be a rotten headache to do that, because there's no way that I can get a router into here, because all of this stuff's in the way and I don't want to smash that off, to be able to route a section there. To cut these both sides with a handsaw, I guess I could do it, but wow, it's going to look rough. So the solution I've come up with is I'm going to use my track saw. I'm going to use the HKC, and I'm going to use a piece of timber. Now, this just happens to be Paduke. I had a quick look through my new timber rack, and man, doesn't that make it easy to find wood. I just went through and found all sorts of different thicknesses. This is 21 millimeters thick, and it is so close to being the same thickness. It's not funny. So I'm going to use this, but I'm going to drag it back over here, clamp it to the actual body, set the track up on top of this with maybe 3 millimeters or 4 millimeters of the track sitting on here, and then rip this. And I'm going to do it on both ends. I'll do one today at least, possibly two, but we'll have a look at that. So there's a couple of things in this. One of them is, I'm so proud of how Vicky's gone with this. That looks brilliant. And, you know, that wasn't without, without trial and error as well, but that's half the fun of it. There's all sorts of different ways of doing upholstery, and eventually we came up with a really easy way, and it worked brilliantly. Teamwork, got there. So I'm going to switch to the other camera in a second. Let me see what I've got here. I think I've got, can't find it. Oh, no, there it is. Of course it is. Pencil, glasses. Here. Right. Before I set that up, I'm going to use my combination square. I'm going to bring it back to 4 millimeters. Now, the reason I'm doing that is I'm going to just step back from there a second. The blade on the HKC, which is the cordless circular saw that will also run on a track from Festool. The blade on that, the kerf, is 1.8 millimeters, so close to 2 millimeters, it's not funny. The TSC, which is the heavier duty track saw, dedicated track saw that Festool have, was going to give me a couple of issues. It's by clamping this to here, the clamps are going to be up like this, and the batteries and the motor on the TSC 55 overhang the track a bit, and they may have bumped into it. Now I haven't got anything wider than this to get it out of the way, so that's why I've chosen to use the HKC. The battery is in line with the motor and it does not overhang the side of the track at all. There's a little thing along the edge. Anyway, so the blade is 0.4 of a millimeter, the kerf is 0.4 of a millimeter less. So I'm going to put a mark at this end at 4, which is going to basically give me 6 millimeters, or it's going to be 5.8 millimeters by the time the cut's been done. Allowing for thickness of pencil width and all of that kind of stuff, and I know people are going to say that. All right, isn't that lovely? I just looked up there and there was a remnant of a drill bit. Ah, well, that's life. All right, I'm going to switch the cameras for the next part. And the reason being, I'll show you a couple of things about the HKC. As I said, there's the battery slides in here. The motor doesn't overhang the side of the track at all. There's the track. There's the saw. Push that down so it can drop down, like so. So that, plenty of clearance. Always nice to see preservation of heirloom furniture for the next generation. Speaking of multi-tools, okay, you guys are all happy having chats down there. I think it could be a good use for a rotary tool with a router attachment. It could be, but this is something, this is going to be a dead straight cut. It's only going to take a couple of seconds. All right, now with this particular saw, because it's kind of a half a construction saw and half a track saw, first thing we need to do is set the depth that I'm going to go. Now on here it's got FS, which stands for Vorenschiene, which is guide rail in German. So I'm going to grab this and lower it down to 21. I don't know if you can see that, but just there it says 21 millimeters. Now, don't do that part when you have the saw released up, because as soon as you squeeze that, the spring's going to release and it's going to crack. And Yeah. Anyway, I've got all of these people telling me what's going to work and what's not going to work now. So it's an easy matter of just push it down and it locks when I reach the bottom for the depth of the plunge. So next thing to do, I've got an aluminium blade in there. I want to take that out. Notice I don't have the battery in. Never work on a battery powered saw with the battery in. Jigsaw, circular saw, whatever, it doesn't make any difference. Don't do it. All right, this one has got a little lever at the front. You pull that forwards and it will expose that there is a Allen key in there. So pull that out. It's also locked the blade so it can't rotate. This is a conventional right-hand thread. On the Capex, remember a little while ago I made comment that that is a left-hand thread. Bob, solutions aren't in vain. A lot of things are going to work, and it depends on what you have available as to whether or not something's going to work. Now that is an aluminium blade, and that's designed for the TS 55. So it's a 2.2 millimeter kerf blade. This is one designed for the HK series. Okay, so on the front here is a little lever, and that brings the blade guard up. Now the blade guard also is a riving knife just down here. This drops into the slot behind the blade as you're cutting. All right, now make sure that you've got this colored section facing out. The other way around, it's not going to cut. It's going to be spinning this way. No good. So we drop that down out of the way, slide the blade in position. It's a 20 millimeter arbor. And I put the flange with the retaining Allen head countersunk bolt. What would you call it? Is it a carriage bolt or, I don't know, countersunk? Yeah. Look, it's also with the suggestions, everyone who's watching, I don't know how many people are watching, but anyone who's watching now or further down the track during the week, they'll see suggestions like that and they'll take them on board, you know, exactly as Peter said. All right, pop it back in. Always put it back in. Otherwise, the next time you need it, you're going to go looking and it's not going to be there. Close that. Now, I have got the correct blade in there for ripping. Put the battery in. And I checked that it had a full charge. Slide her in. And then, why isn't it turning? That one isn't working with it. I don't know why, but let me see if I've got a different battery that's not Bluetooth and see if that one will work. 5.2 and a 4.2. I know the 4.2 should work. Let's see what happens. There you go. Did you see that? The 6.2 Bluetooth battery wouldn't run it. Amazing. I didn't know that. All right, next thing to do is to put some clamps on that board to hold it in position. So I'll use a couple of 600s. People have asked me what size clamps are my favorites. 600s and 300s. These things are fantastic. The blade is an 18-tooth rip blade. So it's kind of a combination blade for that particular saw. Let me switch the cameras around. There we go. Yeah, it's almost a combination blade for it. But the 600 and 800, before I lock that on, I'll get the track and make sure I've got enough room there. See, that's only just going to go on. Beautiful. There we go. And a couple of those. Lovely. Lock that. So it's not going anywhere. And on the other side, oh, come on. Good. Why is that lifting like that? I do not know. Because it's gone down in the hinge. That's something that I wasn't really prepared for. Spin that around and that'll hold it. That's better. Much better. All right, lining the track up with where the cut's going to be. Slide the clamps in that lock onto the underside. That's that one. And this one from the other side. That looks pretty good. Get the saw. There might be a firmware update for it. Now with this saw, you can't just put it on like a conventional track saw. I'll turn it around a little. You have to push this so it drops down. And I'm also going to release it so it's coming up. There we go. So at the moment, not an issue. It can slide through. It's going to do the cut nicely. And instead of using a dust extraction, I'm going to use the bag. Done. All right. Bring it back to there. And I'm in line with the beginning of that. Going to start the saw up before I plunge. Done. Let's see how we went. Fingers crossed. Oh, that's magic. That's the paint holding it. That's amazing. That is absolutely magic. Give me a second. I'll undo this and this one. And I'm going to get a Stanley knife and cut that. Don't reef on it because I'll end up tearing all of the old paint. Where's my Stanley knife? Lost and gone forever. All right, we'll use a chisel. I normally try and put things away all the time. Let's see. So there we are. That's the piece. Nice is that? Beautiful. A little bit of a clean up on the edge with a piece of sandpaper and then some primer undercoat in there. I'll just give this a quick touch like that. Don't you love live? The live show keeps me humble. How many people out there would be brave enough to do it? I know there's a few people do live. sometimes after I've had a bad show, I think to myself, why do you do it? Why do you do it? Well, because people keep coming back, and maybe they like to have a bit of a look and a laugh. I'm going to do the other side exactly the same right now, because I'm here and I want to pop that in to see what it looks like right at the end. Pop that one there. And the Bessie on here. About there. How's that for the track? It's going to be fine for the track, but I do need to put the mark there. Bring it back a little so you can see what I'm doing. Now, also, I'm not reading any of the comments at the moment. I will read them later on tonight when I watch the show, do the review, and cringe a couple of times, I'm guessing. That's all good there. Pull it around a little bit more so you can see me lining it up. I'll be starting the saw from that side this time. So I need to make sure I have enough of this center rail for the guides, or the little cams, plastic cams that follow that. If you don't, if one of the cams isn't on, if it's over the outside, well then the saw will approach at a bit of an angle until it gets both cams on. Then it'll straighten up. And by that time, I may have stuffed the whole project. Slide this onto here. And on this end, we've got a couple of minutes left. And remind me to just go through the tongue drum quickly for you. Now, I have to raise the saw, then I can put it on, push this down, and see this part here, I don't know if you can, I'm going to pull this along a bit so you can see it. This bit here, that's the cam that I was talking about. If that's not on, see the back can wobble, and then when I bring it on, no more wobble. All right, let's do the cut. Push down all the way till it locks. And back up again. Out of the way. It's the part I'm keen to see. See, these little jobs I save during the week because I think, oh, they might be interesting for the show. And so meantime, I'm marking time. Come on. I want to get this done. Same as the gate. I want to get that done. So the dog can't run away. At the moment, I've got a piece of plywood on some zip ties, and that's the gate. Well, it's not really what I was wanting. That's going to fold nicely. Gotcha. Beautiful. All right, let's see if the cushion will fit on. That's the back. This is the front. That's sitting on beautifully. Lovely. What do you reckon? I've got a clever wife, haven't I? This is magic. And my daughter's going to absolutely love it. Very, very nice. This is going in a wardrobe, I think. Be a seat for her to put her shoes and socks on, all that kind of stuff. Love it. Okay, up the top. Okay, back over here. So we did that without stuffing anything. That was a clever trick, wasn't it? Yeah, so depending on what tools you have, the right tool for the job, and there you go. Let me have a look down here. Okay, so next week, sharpening up. Also, I hope to finish the video on the Turner hand plane display, and the following week will be a year from my solar panel installation. How has it performed? Save up questions for me if you are interested. Suspect Dave had that much. Dave's solution is a lot better than my multi. 2 for 2, Dave. Well done. It did the job. It did the job. Now I'm going to take this off here and throw the, not throw, but place this guy here. And you know how I said it's glow in the dark? This is the resin that was left over. Now, an interesting thing, the pigment settled in the bottom of this. So you don't need to put a whole lot of pigment in, because this stuff up the top will also glow. This is the purple one that I haven't opened up. How about we have a look at that? It's pretty easy. Just some scissors down the side. That's got it. There we go. Now, I don't know what I could do with these. Maybe I could make some glasses. Scare the neighborhood's children. I don't know. Imagine waking up and you see these two things peering in your window in the middle of the night. All right. Now, I'm going to try it. I'm going to take this off. Pull this in from under here. And I'm going to put this on the bench underneath, just sitting there, and we'll see how it goes. Could you hear that okay? Did the sound come through all right, or was it kind of rubbish? Let me know. Let me know. Just quickly type something. One. Not. I don't want 3,000 entries. And I'm waiting. I want to see if people could hear it all right. What I'll do in the meantime while I'm waiting is I will put. Sounds good. You like that, Paul? I'm going to put a towel. I'll just hook this on the outside. Then you'll be able to hear me without it sounding a bit strange. All right. Now, I put larger felt pads on the bottom. See that? Playing was ordinary. Thanks, Ben. Okay, this time I'm going to, as I say, put it on top of this towel. Put the microphone under there. And let me know if this sounds as good or better. Any good? Less echo. Yeah, okay. All right. Now, if you want to hear it without the microphone underneath, we'll do it just like this. Now, maybe a bit better. Okay. Could you hear that better at all or not? I reckon inside on the towel, I reckon that might sound the best. Give me a second. I want to show you something else. Okay, that's what I thought. But I'm going to do this. Now, the notes that I'm playing are C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, and F. I have those. Can you see them? Okay, so towel and microphone is best. Okay, on the towel. Now you may not be able to hear me down there. No needs towel and mic. No, it needs the towel and mic. Okay. All right, so this is C, C sharp, D, D sharp, E, and F. It's a slightly different. It's a slightly different. Okay, I'm going to go through it a bit quicker now, but with those notes, and then we'll just have some muck around. I've also got B there, so we'll start with C again. The last one was B. Now, I'm just going to go nuts, all right? It's a bit of fun. What do you reckon? George of the Jungle. Or someone last week or the other week said the Ewoks. The Ewoks. That's talk to the drum. All right. That's going to do us, guys, I think. So thank you very much for watching. Enjoying whilst I do these staged stuff-ups, breaking drills, things like that. It's all good fun. But that box is going to be absolutely fantastic. Bianca will love it. Vicky's had a ball doing it, and it's made her think outside the square for her a lot. So she was going to go one direction, then she thought about it, went another direction, still didn't get the result she was after, and then finally she came up with a fantastic solution in the end. Okay, Toby's signing autographs in the lobby. Michael, Russ, you enjoyed it. Just got flashbacks to grade 1 music. I'll play a recorder with it as an accompaniment if you want to. All right. My Patreons, and I'm going to read them out this week. Thank you so much to the patrons. They make it worthwhile. They make me get out of bed on Sunday morning, down here, 7 o'clock in the morning, when everyone else is sound asleep. I'm down here trying to get all this stuff organized. These are the people that really push me, all of my patrons. Thank you so much for supporting me through Patreon. If you want to help out as well, in the links in the description box down below the video image at the moment, or if you're on an Android phone, or you can push the button as well, and it will expand everything underneath there. You can jump in there and have a look. You enjoyed it, Derek? Lamar, hugs from Brazil. Right back at you. All right, my patrons at the moment, it's a particular tier and above. Johannes Mohr, John Parra, Vincent Ngian, John Lafferty, Peter Woolworth, Brian Del Vecchio, Justin Bailey, Brett Guthrie, Mike Deam, Wayne Cargill, Matthew Raphael, John Lynch, and Peter Partridge. Thank you so much. If you like what I'm doing, give me a thumbs up, subscribe to the channel. Don't forget to ring that bell icon and click on it, and it says activate emails and all that kind of stuff. All right. Anyone know what jig uses sharpen chisels and hand plates? Next week, I'm doing chisel sharpening next week, buddy. All right. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and I shall see you next week. Look after yourselves. Be nice to each other. Bye.